Tales of Myth and Mayhem tell stories for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Please look after yourself. Buck, Annabelle, you're out of that room. You are headed down, but you can feel, I think maybe your collarbone's broken.
Can I say I grabbed that hammer?
Oh yeah, you can have grabbed the hammer, definitely.
Yeah.
I was asking if Annabelle or Buck heard the yelling.
Oh yeah, they've now heard screaming and yelling.
Rosa's yelling specifically.
Alright, okay, I know you're too far away for that.
Okay.
It's more muffled, general sort of stuff. Also, anyone that made it behind, past the barriers.
Got it, thank you.
Okay, so Buck has got like one of his, we'll say his left arm is like kind of hanging limply because of the collarbone injury. And he's got like the hammer in the other. His hat is still on, his buckle still on, his eyes are wide, but they're like bloodshot, still like recovering from the pepper spray. And he is just like, I think he is like kind of strangely pumped by this. Like he's just like, come on, you want a piece of this? Come on. And he's just like screaming out, like, and he's feeling just a little bit, a touch overconfident as he does this. Vaguely looking for a way out, but more looking for someone to hit with the hammer at this point is kind of more what he's probably searching for.
And Annabelle is definitely looking for a way out. So she's kind of just behind him, but she's definitely looking left and looking right and looking for a door, a window, something that Buck can break to get us outside the door.
Annabelle, give me an investigate, please.
Two-time All-American. Come on. So he's just screaming.
17 success.
You don't see anything here, but you think the gust of wind came and brought a smell. Gust of wind means there's got to be somewhere that it came from. You think it may have been from outside or whatever, but even if the smell itself wasn't outside, that wind pushing it must have come from there. It's not as if there's a big bellows or something in the factory that would be pushing air towards you.
I don't see anything. I don't see anything over this way, but there was that wind over there. So she just sort of like shoves him from behind, like back in the direction of where that smell was.
Okay.
Are you running? You walking? What's going on?
He wouldn't move faster than Annabelle could go, but I would not say that Buck is being like super stealthy or anything as he's shouting, and he's moving kind of with like, he's very antsy. Like if he's not moving really fast, he's like kind of hopping as he goes and like really just like egging on for a fight. So he'll, and so he might even come on. He might try to do like that stupid, action movie thing and try to reach back and like run with her. Yeah. But his left arm isn't working. So that's, and then he just kind of winces and doesn't let her see the pain. And then keeps pushing.
And I would say she has sort of, because he had put his belt back on. And so she has sort of like grabbed around the belt behind. And so like, if he can kind of feel, kind of fingers on his back, that like she's right behind.
For you as well, it's starting to spread out. It's cold now, and not just, there's no heating on cold. It's becoming almost, you can see your breath in the air. The smell that from before was nothing compared to the stench now. You can smell the blood. Some of it smells extremely old, and so as if it's rotted a little bit. You can smell intestines, you can smell shit, you can smell puke, you can smell just about everything. And it's filling your senses. And Buck, someone's running towards you, screaming.
What are they screaming? And
you have no idea. You just see this person running towards you, topless, very, very muscular.
Oh God, he's just gonna swing.
Yeah.
He's just gonna swing. Yeah.
Roll, please.
Okay.
Engage in combat.
Success with complications, not a great roll.
So you're only using one hand. This hammer's fucking heavy.
Yeah.
You smash out and you feel it connect with someone. You're not, your eyes don't quite get it. You don't see where, but you hear a thump and something wet, and the hammer's torn out of your grip. And you see it's the guy that was dancing, the unstoppable dancer. He's still got a glow stick in one hand. The hammer is actually through his ribcage. You managed to swing it that hard, and it's stuck in there.
He'll look down at like his...
We'll keep it together as well, please.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. He'll look down at the injury, Yeah. He's not good at this.
Whoa.
All right. Oh, wow. Never mind. I lied. 19.
It's just, the guy was weak, couldn't hack it. Obviously, something's going on here, and it's survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
This fucker spent his night dancing. You spent it trying to get laid. What's more manly than that?
And he's just like standing over top, and he's like, "Honor the flag!" And he's like pointing at his belt buckle, and he's pointing at his the flag of Texas on his wrist, and he's just trying to with one hand rip the hammer out of the body. And trying to kick, kicking at the rib cage with his boots to try to break the ribs even more to get the hammer free.
At this point, I take it, Annabelle, you're still going on, or are you waiting for Buck to?
Yeah, so Buck had taken, when he took his shirt off, he'd rolled it up and put it in the pocket of his jeans. And this smells really bad here. So she's taken the shirt, and while he's taking care of that person, she's taking his shirt and putting it up over her face so she doesn't have to smell the really bad smell.
You put it over your face and you hear, again, a whisper, but I get the southern accent that I will not even try to butcher. Angry. You think you're better than us? You're a dumb piece of ass, Annabelle. We know where you live. And it's gone.
No, you don't. You don't. No. Who said that?
Your breath cool pushes out. Buck, you hear her speak to herself as you manage to wrest this out of the body. It's slick with blood. Rosa, you're heading down the stairs, shouting. At the bottom, there's two people waiting on you. They're naked, spinning chains. Maybe you think you recognise one of them from before. You going to come quietly?
Where? What is this? What's happening?
Believe me, it's better if you come with us than if you go with them, and points over towards where one of these things is ripping into a slightly overweight guy that done nothing all night.
She turns the ashtray and as if that will help. And okay, I'll come with you, I guess.
Good. And one reaches out.
You're not gonna hurt me, right?
I'm not going to hurt you. He's not going to hurt you. Just come with us. And they take your hands really gently, and you get some of that stuff on your hand, and it tingles a little bit.
What?
Like when you get, the vapor rub thing. And they lead you towards the altar where these people are going round and round. And I want you to roll see through the illusion again, please.
Oh, man.
Remember, you want to fail this one.
Yeah. Success with complications, 10.
You see again this face on the cloth. The smile, the blood. Be my queen. And you hear another voice. The voice of your father. God sees what you're doing, Rosa. How dirty, filthy you are.
Kind of straightens up and is that face recognizable at all?
No, it's almost angelic looking, his demeanour, but the smile is so welcoming to you. In the cracks around your vision, you see the people walking around chanting. They're not covered in any oil. They're flayed, they have no skin. You see behind them machinery that works on human pain and human souls, chugging away, but you don't get the feeling that it's for you. That voice talks over the voice of your father.
Okay.
Give me the heads of your parents. Give me the heads of the bigots. Give me the heads of whomever you wish. Ellie, you see this woman you saw before. She'd been arguing with another woman. She's with her friends. She has a kind of beatific look on her face. Doesn't seem to be wounded at all. Unlike yourself, your legs are throbbing in pain. You're destroying the planet. You could be my queen. You could stop them.
Am I still being pulled along the floor?
No, you're now over at the altar with these people going around. And I want you to roll see through the illusion, please.
Okay, got a 14. Success with complications.
Reality kind of breaks around you. And you see the same as Rosa saw. This machinery, slick, somehow dirty and clean at the same time. It makes sense to you that this would be so much better than our world. so much healthier, so much cleaner, and the voice is offering you a way to take it. And you feel that face. You're not facing the cloth, but you feel the eyes burn into the back of your head. Buck, Annabelle, you've made it back to basically where you come in. The structure is ruined off to the... So from the way you're coming, off to the right would be where the wind came from. But you see these creatures have almost finished their orgy of murder. You see these people going around the altar, and I want you to roll as well. See through the illusion for me.
Got it. That's soul.
Yes.
And I don't have one of those, so
that's good.
Small penalty to this.
Me either.
All right, that's why we got look. Okay, I still freaking passed though. 14.
Nice.
Successful complications.
None of you let me get the good fucking stuff.
I know. I was hoping I was gonna fail for you. I wanted to fail.
No, you want to succeed. You want to. Well, for me, it would be better if you succeed. For you, it would be better if you fail.
I always think from a GM perspective, so I'm always like,
yeah.
I'm still rooting for you.
I literally took mushrooms and didn't see through the illusion. I'm amazed.
Oh shit! I should have given you a fucking minus, a plus to that. Damn it! Should have thought of that. It doesn't quite break. You see these things for what they are, though. They are magnificent creatures, something that you have now beaten. Annabelle didn't beat it. You beat it. Mm-hmm. These things are creatures, they serve something greater. And you hear the voice in your head. Not the same one that tried to mock you before. It's a different one. It's a female voice, but strong, kind of real. Join me. Be my king. You can have anything you want and punish the rest. You can have that little thing beside you and she will be yours for what you want. They will fear you. They will respect you. All I ask is a little token of appreciation. And you see the people walking around. Again, you see them as they are in this other place. They're flayed. They have no skin, but they're walking, they're chanting, they seem to have rounded everyone up. They're doing something to call on something. You see the hints of this machinery. It looks very strong. It's the sort of thing that a real leader would have control of.
So he pauses for a second and he thinks, Lady, Hillary lost the election. Ain't no woman gonna bestow power to me. A man takes it, is what he calls out to absolutely no one.
Who the hell are you talking to?
You hear a laugh, then come and take it. And it looks like there's a gap in the people carrying out this ritual or whatever it is. Annabelle, you did not hear that at all. I want you, as you see them doing the ritual, you know where you need to go. But I want you to give me a see through the illusion, please, as well.
All right, so that's a 12 success with complication.
The same again. Reality kind of splits a little bit. It breaks. And you see what everyone else saw. But you hear a voice, very sweet. Be my queen and cleanse the world of their ignorant kind. Why should they impress their bigotry on others? You may rule, you may make everyone as you wish. They must behave in the requisite manner. You don't want them here arguing about their pronouns, being little bitches, trying to take you as property. You can rule as my queen.
Who are you, though?
Your eyes are drawn to the picture on the altar, the cloth's waving a little bit. Makes it look like the blood is running. The smile, this beatific smile of this woman. I am the herald of violence. And with violence you can clean up the mess that men have made of this world. The patriarchy. At the same time, Buck, you're hearing that all these woke feminists, they're inviting these monsters and you can rule, you can take them all away.
He's nodding.
Rosa, you're hearing this, now it's almost constant as it speaks to you. They cannot make their faith your problem. You will rip it from them, you will show them the errors of their ways. So all you need to do is accept. I can help you. And this goes on. Annabelle, what do you want to do? You're not... It's up to you how this voice affects you. you know how to get out. You can see that the violence there has calmed down. Well, you're pretty sure you know the way out.
She was sort of nodding along for a bit, and then when it sort of got to the violence piece, you could tell she just sort of like, that's beneath her. That's things that other people do. She's not looking to get her hands dirty. So she was leaning in the direction kind of towards that. And then you just sort of see this look on her face that's just a little, she's kind of like almost wiping her hands, trying to kind of clean them off a bit. Like, no. And so she still sort of had Buck around sort of the belt loop on his back. And she just sort of like pulls him. There's that way. And she's sort of pulling him towards the exit because she's still kind of behind him.
Buck, what do you do? Which way are you going?
This is a very difficult choice. Like Annabelle, and then taking down Antifa, leftists, feminists, all that kind of snowflake garbage. This is really, really difficult. Does Annabelle say anything to him, like as you try to like, or are you just pulling on the belt, or are you actually saying, because when you try to pull on him, you'll notice that he is still, and you could tell like he's staring down at that like open path that you said, Mark, and like he is clearly calculating. Does Annabelle say anything to him?
I think she might have been maybe saying that out loud of, you're right. I'm not getting my hands dirty. That's for them to do. That's not for me to do. Buck, let's go. So I think she'd be sort of narrating out loud that like the violence is not for her. She's not to get her hands dirty.
Oh my God. Okay. This is such a hard decision. As you like pull, you notice he starts walking away from you. He is like literally slowly like moving forward, and you just hear him mumbling all this stuff about natural order of things. Everything's upended. Man can't be a man anymore. Like stuff like that as he's like trundling forward.
Where are you going? This way. We need to go this way.
I'm going to set things right. That's what I'm going to do. I'm tired of people talking about their feelings and saying this and that. That's not the way it works around here. You just buck up, son. You just buck up. He's like mumbling to himself.
Annabelle is sort of rolling her eyes because she recognizes that she benefits from having this strong individual in front of her, but isn't looking to be a warrior next to him. So no, gosh darn it, this way. We want to get out of here. This is like going to cockfights. You let other people do this. This isn't what we do. We're better than this.
Mark, could I either say like I read an intuition, or like she like influences another maybe? Because like I do feel like he's torn between two right now.
Yes, you can definitely do that. Influence another would come from Annabelle.
Yeah.
If you roll that, please.
Me and my -1 charisma.
Yeah, that tracks.
It's a 7.
Oh, man.
Okay. He'll just sort of like reach back and not even look at her and just kind of like slap her hand off of the belt, and he'll like just proceed forward to take what's his, set things right.
You proceed forward. You see all of these creatures have come stumbling to stop. They're now around where the altar is. Annabelle, are you sticking around, or are you running? Or running as well as you can?
You stupid meathead. Just, fine.
What?
Go. And she just goes the direction that she thinks is toward an exit.
You go behind you. You hear the voices stop. From in front of you, the wind screams. You can feel where it's coming from. You know exactly where you need to go now. You do have that stench of death being wafted with it. But it's cold. You know it'll be dangerous outside. You make your way there as something appears above the altar. The rest of you see it. It's a woman. She's naked. She's beautiful. She's magnificent. She has a halo of thorns and barbed wire The blood dripping down her face, her long blonde hair seems to be whiffing some kind of wind as she lowers herself. And even you, Buck, you see this as a magnificent woman, someone that you could own, that you could have. You know, you would be a real man with her at your side. And all of these creatures with the scars raise their heads, and she walks as she lands on the floor, bare feet in the sand and the dust and the blood, and she takes one finger and slits each of their throats. She reaches Caesar. The rest of you are all cowering by now, except Buck. Buck is standing there, watching. At this point, Annabelle has scraped her way out into the dust storm, maybe catches sight of Daisy as she cowers behind some kind of car or something. Caesar smiles and drops to his knees, and she says to him, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." You see a tear in his eye, and he smiles, and he stands up and walks to a pillar and starts to bash his face against it as hard as he can. 1, 3, you see his face start to cave in, but he doesn't fall down. He doesn't die. He turns to her with a smile on his face. His eyes seem to shine, like he sees more, he knows more, everything's clearer to him now. This crack in his face, you can tell his teeth have been ruined on one side, but the joy in him, the windows in the ceiling, and all around shatters, the storm gets stronger and stronger. Both Daisy and Annabelle feel it cutting into their skin. They'll have abrasions everywhere. They still make it out. The people, the guys that were dressed, that were naked, had the thing on, all start to cry. They're weeping, they look so weak, Buck. The one that took you along, Rosa, that saved you, you see him, tears in his eyes, almost buckling over at the loss of his leader. None of you move. You see them gather up their clothes in silence, other than the sobs. All of you victims are left where you are. Can't move, not even you, but you can't move as long as she is looking at you. You all know who she is now. She's the herald of violence. She has a crown in her hand. It's massively made of iron. There's caked blood in the spikes of it. And each of you feel her reach out to you. She's only talking to you. You can all see the looking in your eyes. She knows what you fear. She knows what you resent. And to each of you, she says, "Will you be my servant? Will you offer me 200 souls to reign over life and death? Gain power to inflict your will upon this joke of a dream of a prison? You can kill anyone, you can have anyone, you will have the power that lies beyond death. You can sculpt this place to however you wish. What say you? All of you here. Well, all of you that are there."
That's playing God. I can't play God. There is already a God. And at this point, Rosa starts kind of weeping, and I know my father doesn't believe this, but you know, if God didn't want me this way, then he wouldn't have made me this way, right? There is a God. There is a God, and
as you say there is a God, you hear laughing, mocking laughter. There were gods, and now they keep you tied up like sheep.
Gods? There's no gods. There's only God. There's one God.
Ellie, what do you think of the offer?
She thinks people should work with nature and not dominate over it, but if I don't take this offer, someone who's worse might.
Buck, what about you?
Buck, like, bristles when she says be her servant, and he's just like, he like says something to the effect of like, no woman will order me around.
When you say this, you see a smile, and the form changes, and it is the most buff man you have ever seen. You can see battle scars the front, but not like you can tell. You see visions in your head of how these wounds were one, always facing the enemy. Is this more to your taste?
And so he like nods. He takes the cowboy hat off. He looks over at Rosa and he says, "Ain't no God. There's only Texas. Give me my crown."
It seems we have a tie. What would you offer me? 200 souls of what I ask. 2 of you wish to take me up on my offer. What will you give me for access to this power?
Buck will say, things are always bigger in Texas. I'll give you 300.
Ellie, you don't hear Buck's offer. What do you offer in return?
I offer my potential. Everything I might do in the future. Instead of doing that, I will do whatever this needs.
She weighs it up. Buck, you get an idea of what's been offered. It's a lot more than 300 souls. It's what this person is. Maybe it'll be thousands of souls. Maybe it'll be nothing. What could you offer?
Okay. He sort of looks at the man now, and he bristles at the idea that he is not strong enough. And he says to like the figure, he says, "I'm not some slave that will jump and do your bidding. I shall carry forth your word. I shall collect souls. I shall reap the unworthy. I offer you a force of nature. This little one here, she's a fragile leaf that will just disappear and crumble beneath my boot. I offer you someone who will carry forth a vision and not simply balk and cower in front of your face."
You feel approval wash over you. You feel power wash over you. It is done. The crown in his hands is lowered over your brow. You feel the iron scrape in, almost touching the bone. It's pain, but it's also ecstasy, and you see what power you have. His hand sweeps out over the rest. These may be your jackals, and you see in your mind that the jackals were these creatures that were murdering, or they may be your fodder. You choose what to do with them. You are the new monarch of violence. You are the king that will bring the pain.
And he lets out, like he's done so many times already, his howl, and he'll just like rear back like this sort of like country boy howl in like approval. And you can see like he's like amped up, blood pouring down his face.
Reality drops away and you see this monstrous machinery, this city stretches out before you, and you know that it's yours. And the people cowering in front of you have a choice. Join you or die. Annabelle, Daisy, go give a little coda for you both. You manage to stumble upon each other in this storm. You're miles away from anywhere. Do you both get free? Do you get saved? How do you get away? How does this affect you?
I feel like we could hotwire a car, if there's a car.
You hotwire a car. You get back to Juarez. Octavio sees you and does not speak to you. You two have seen horrors. What happens now on? There's no one you could tell that would believe you.
I would say that Annabelle goes into kind of with her upbringing, and it's really just the story in her mind is a little toned down version, but it's basically she just tells the story of don't go to Mexico. There's awful things that happen in Mexico. There's plenty of things to do here in America. You don't need to travel there. And it really becomes this like she did drugs and saw cartel violence, and that's sort of how she packages that in her brain. And so like there's definitely after effects, but she tells herself that it is not at all what she thought it was, and then moves on with her working in academia life that takes her nowhere ever in danger again.
Unless Buck decides otherwise, of course. Daisy, what about you? What happens as your conspiracy seems to have been proven?
She launches her podcast and probably loses very quickly about half of her 12,000 Twitter followers.
But you gain others.
And maybe at some point writes like a self-published book about her experiences. But she doesn't get very far in the medical community because no one takes her seriously because of the podcast.
No, but then you have supplements that you can sell.
I mean, possibly.
Rosa, do you become one of Buck's chosen? Or do you die shaking off the Elysium, maybe passing on to somewhere else?
God damn it. This is a similarly difficult choice to the one Japan. Because of a series of mental gymnastics and still being kind of high, I think she will align herself with Buck, probably a little to his surprise, I might think. But she kind of tells herself that like she can deal with the biggest now. She's not having the hubris of being this godlike figure, so it's clearly not that bad. And so that's how she convinced. And anyway, Petra turned out to be a bitch, so maybe she just needs to reevaluate a bunch of things. I mean, she's still not going to tell Buck about her family and stuff because he'll definitely call ICS on her parents. But they are, for sure, I think she's aligning with them.
There's an ecstasy to following Buck. He's the monarch of slaughter. And maybe at the first you don't quite go with it, but then, you know, what you feel about religion, what you feel about all this stuff kind of seeps out. And it's like, maybe you want to exercise some of that violence of your own.
Yeah.
But Buck, how does your reign as the monarch of slaughter look? As you promised what no other promised before?
I think Buck finally feels like free to do whatever the hell he wants. I think he has, this was a terrible hire, as he will absolutely relish in bringing like horrific violence anywhere he can go, because he has been like, I like to think that Buck has been a guy who has been hoarding his feelings, his frustrations, his hatred, and it's all just been festering and festering and festering. And he's been trying to be the good guy that everyone expects him to be. And now there is a moment where like he is literally showing that he is not that, and he gets rewarded for it. So yeah, it is an absolute bloodbath. And he just sort of, you know, whether it's across Mexico or Texas or whatever, like he revels in it, as I think is what it's going to be with him, in an extraordinarily brutal way. He is a violent, misogynistic man who is just given ridiculous amounts of power. So he is going to take advantage of that.
And when Buck's end comes, when his final sacrifice is given, the herald of violence appears to him as a woman. And it doesn't bother Buck now. He sees the power for what it is. She kisses his brow. He takes a shotgun to his mouth, blows the back of his his head out, and smiles as he steps into another world. And thank you all very much. Hope that went well.
It was awesome, Mark.
Very cool. Very cool.
That was so great. That was great.
You've been listening to Tales of Myth and Mayhem. You can find all the links to find us in the description. Hope you enjoyed yourself.